Hi everybody, I'm Michael, a Florida ecologist and expert in invasive plant control, and today I'm going to teach you how to pull up this awful plant, Ardisia crenata, also known as coral ardisia, without wrecking your back. Before we get to that, I do want to address that pulling up ardisias by hand is not an effective way to control a population unless it's just around your house or something very small. If you manage conservation land, please hire professionals, or please do it yourself with foliar spraying. Foliar spray it with Garlon. It's going to take a number of repeat treatments because some of the ones you spray will sprout back up and the seeds keep coming up for 2 years. After that, maybe you can monitor it by hand pulling. There is a way that you can use hand pulling by volunteers as part of an integrated approach to controlling this plant. You don't want to have them attacking dense infestations or even a medium infestation like this. You want to use your volunteers to collect the fruits and or to pick up individual plants that are in areas where they're very sparse. For dense or medium infestations, or for a large population, even one that's sparse over a large area, please do it like a professional with foliar spraying with Garlon, or hire professionals to do it for you. That being said, let's get into this. There's plenty of things on the internet to tell you how to identify this plant, but it's pretty easy. It's got these sort of little stems with leaves clustered at the ends, very dark green. It has this little scalloped pattern on the edge of the leaf and these bright red fruits this time of year. This is kind of in the end of winter in North Florida right now, and you can see these much of the year. So I want to show you the bottom of the plant. And first I'm going to pull one up wrong so that we can see the bottom of the plant. And by pull one up wrong, I don't mean using poor body mechanics. That's also, it's also very important to use correct body mechanics when you're pulling something, even if you're only bending over, because the weight of yourself can give you back problems. But I'm going to try to teach you how to do this so that you're not actually having to pull very hard. But to show you how to do that, I'm going to have to pull something up the wrong way. So let's all right. You see that took quite a lot of effort, and if you do that a lot, you are probably going to wreck your back. Now what I want to show you is all these things, roots. In a lot of our invasive plants, like tallow trees or paper mulberries, if you leave bits of roots like this in the ground, they will regrow. For Ardisia, however, only the middle part is important. Only this, what they call the root crown, the middle here, this is what's going to, if you break off a stem, you see actually this one did break off some time ago, and it popped up these 3 new ones. So let's drop this for now, and I'll show you what you need. There are a number of devices sold for pulling up Ardisia that basically use leverage to do what I just did. They has a plier-like thing that grabs the stem, and a lever that you push down, and it rips the plant out of the ground or breaks the stems, which is also very common. Also, you don't need to do that. Those things are expensive, and I appreciate the intention behind them, but it's really, it's not necessary. So basically what you want to do, got a little ahead of myself, this is a shovel. This is a particularly heavy shovel. It has an iron handle that helps with momentum for stabbing. The other thing that this shovel has is a fairly sharp edge here. It's not like knife sharp, but it's been worn down over the years, and it's very sharp for a shovel. Now what you use this for is, there are 2 things, 2 ways you can use this. One of them is, try this one. I don't know if this is going to be in the way. Not you. You can just kind of step on it. You can do this with a regular shovel that's not terribly sharp and not very heavy, although sharpness still helps. And you just use leverage You get this underneath there, use leverage, pop it up, and that loosens it. And then it's easier, but it's still not that easy. So another thing that you can do this big one here. This one uses the weight and the sharpness. You just kind of stab it. You cut through all the roots on one side. Cut through all the roots on the other side. And over here. Do that again. And see how we left almost all the roots in the ground comparatively. We just chopped them off like that. They're not going to grow back. This plant is done. We'll have to get all these seeds because every one of those will form a new plant, but it's so much easier to pull up a plant after you just cut through those side roots. Let me show you again. You sort of make a triangle. Let's see if we can find an isolated one. You want to come over a little closer? You can do that with the camphor tree too. Maybe I'll show you that one with this camphor tree. Grab here. I think I missed it a little bit. Stab there. Go on this side. Stab there, and you can use the leverage to help that. Just pop that right out. So now we got this camphor tree. See, we just chopped off most of those roots, used some lever action to help pop it up. Not hard to pull out. If I would have just tried to yank that, pulling on it, would have been quite a lot harder. Let's see if we can do that again. You want to come a little closer, and let's see if we can show this real close up. Basically, your shovel is mostly flat, and we're going to make a triangle right around the bottom. Stab in like that. That was a little far away, but oh well. You don't have to aim perfectly. And there. Then you can lever it a little bit, and that comes to your missed one. So we got most of it. See, most of them chopped off, and you don't have to pull that hard to get that out. Alright, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please foliar spray these things. Don't rely on volunteers or hand pulling. Thank you. The situations that are good for hand pulling are kind of like this. See, there's one over there. Walk a little bit more, we may find another one. But there's really not much. I see one off in the distance here. So if you have volunteers who want to help you with an Ardisia problem, send them out into places like this where they're sparse, where you can do a lot of walking and just find a couple. Send them out with a bucket to collect the fruits and a shovel. But for the denser areas, you really want to use a more professional approach. It may feel really good to rip those bastards out of the ground by hand, but even if you bust your butt for a whole year on it, if you're working on a large population, it's going to start maybe 10,000 times more new plants in that year than you're going to be able to do with hand pulling. It's just too slow. So if you are working on a few plants around your house, you can hand pull them. If you've got volunteers for a sparse area to help out, that's great. But to manage a population effectively, it needs to be done in a professional manner with herbicides. Thanks again.